What's going on, everybody? Dalt here with Lisi Parts in the Scrap Life Garage. You can see we got the Audi on the trailer. It is a beautiful day here in Maryland. We are dragging this thing over to Audi of Annapolis in order to fix a little problem that we ran into. So we're getting started on actually putting this thing back together, or as put together as it's gonna be for a go-kart. And we realized that we don't have the wheel lock key for this thing. So Audi actually got smart on this thing, and the wheel locks are the most legit wheel lock that we've ever encountered, because we encounter this quite often. And in order to get the wheel lock off, you can't just hammer a socket onto the wheel lock and then pull it back off, because Audi was extremely intelligent and actually made a separate bezel on the outside of the wheel lock. So when you hammer a socket onto it, it just spins. So we have to drag this thing over to Audi of Annapolis in order to get them to remove it, since they have a master lock set. And we are going to bring the camera with us and hope that we get some good reactions of a unsuspecting Audi tech that's going to come out and probably not be expecting to see this thing on the trailer. All right, let's head over. It makes 1750 on high boost.
Okay. Wow.
Yeah, it's an underground racing build. Makes a little over 1100 on pump gas.
I like it.
And then, like I said, it makes 1750 on race gas.
I like it a lot.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Yeah, that'd be fun.
Yeah, we're hoping to have some fun with it. How are you, man?
Good. Oh yeah, nice. Oh yeah, cool fine, bro.
Thanks, man. Appreciate it. It's gonna be a giant go-kart. Yeah, we're actually, basically it's gonna we gotta clean up some of the wiring and stuff along those lines. It's gonna get a tube front end, remount the radiators. We're gonna do like metal doors on it, kind of like a Jeep or like a UTV, and it's basically just gonna get driven around just like this. So we're gonna have some fun with it, do some roll racing events, some half-mile stuff, things along those lines. So.
The excitement's real.
What do you think?
Now look at go-kart, man.
Thank you.
What kind of racing do with this thing?
We're gonna do some roll racing with it, some half-mile stuff. So we just picked up the car a couple weeks ago. So we bought it.
You customized this, or was it already like that?
That was already built like that. Yeah, so the car was built a couple years ago. Underground Racing down in North Carolina built it. It was out in Oklahoma. I went out to Oklahoma and picked it up. That was who the guy had wrecked it. So it made 1100 on pump gas and 1750 on race gas.
So you're in here for oil change, huh?
I need to get I need to get the wheel locks off is what I need to do. Yeah, we figured it would get a good reaction over here. Finally found the right key. We got a winner though. They're coming off. So we're back at the shop. We got the Audi back on the lift here. Got the wheel locks removed from it, so now we can remove the wheels, throw them on the balancer, see if there's anything wrong with the wheels themselves or if we can run them as they are. One little trick, since this is the GT model, this actually has the carbon ceramic brakes on it. So one little trick that some people don't necessarily know, the edges of the rotors are very, very important not to chip. You can compromise the whole setup. So one thing that we actually do is we have a whole carton here of pool noodles. So one thing that you can do, they make actual protectors for these, but one thing that you can do is you can take a pool noodle and go ahead and put a slice in it, and then that way it can go up on top of the rotor and you can take the wheel out without it dropping down and hitting the rotor, which is especially important on this car because it doesn't have studs, it has bolts. So you want to be careful not to take all the bolts out and then the wheel goes crashing down right on top of the rotor. So we are going to go ahead and get these things off, get them on the balancer, and see what they come back with. Alrighty, so we went ahead and just did a quick cleanup on this wheel just to see if there's anything visually that appears to be an issue on it. And so far, everything looks fine. I don't see any real cracks or bends. Everything looks cosmetic. These are just little tiny chips out of it and such. Same thing on the back side. We went ahead and cleaned off the back side to see if there's anything. This is the wheel on this side that it had the inner tie rod bent, so we were thinking that this is probably going to be the one that is most likely to maybe be bent if it is. So we're going to throw this thing on the balancer real quick and see what we come back with. Doesn't look too bad to the naked eye there, which is a good sign. That's not so bad. Now the only other thing that we like to do is you spin this around. We have a little feeler gauge here. If you spin it around, you can use this to check to see if there's any sort of in and out play, which there's very, very little. And then also up, down, which it looks like there's one spot right there. So what we'll probably end up doing is sending these up the street to alloy wheel repair. We'll get the rest off and we'll see what it comes back with on the other ones. And we'll probably send that up since that's on the back side. That should be able to be fixed, and hopefully this set will be usable. Alright, so we are over with the car right now, and this is the, really, at least visually, the only suspension damage that we can see. The lower control arms, upper control arms, everything there looks fine. So this took some sort of impact, so we're going to go ahead and get it off and get it replaced. We got the replacement parts here. and we're going to get that out of the way and then see how the car sits. Then hopefully we can do some measurements on it, see if there's anything glaringly obvious that looks twisted up. All right, so now that we got the outer out, Tony here has a special tool for doing the inner. So let's see if this comes out nicely. Easy as pie. All right, and it's all. And now we are set to go ahead and reinstall the new one. And it's on there. So we're gonna go ahead and get the outer reassembled and get this thing all buttoned back up. Man, so we just got lucky. I started putting back together that tie rod end and I realized that Audi did not give us the lock nut for the tie rod with the whole new setup. So I just had to go scrap dumpster diving, and luckily I just dropped it right down there. So I was able to climb in and get it. All right, back to work. All right, we got the Audi on the lift for the first time. We still haven't been underneath of this thing. And we have our trusty tape measure. And we're gonna go through and just do some rough measurements, see if there's anything that's really glaringly obvious on the bottom side of this thing to say that it has some sort of issue with the frame before we get too far into the fabrication of the front end of it. Yeah, this thing is very interesting to balance on the lift. Obviously you've seen the videos of Corvettes tipping backwards on it and everything, and it is a little bit interesting to balance on the lift since it's so back heavy. $83 and 3/8 to the center of that hole. Do the same thing. Same point. Yeah, 83 and 3/8. That's actually.
Who needs a frame machine?
I mean, like I said, I'm not seeing anything under here though. It doesn't look like anything under here. No broken seam sealer. You know, Xing it that way looks about the same. Take a couple of these off real quick. Take this other tray off. I just want to do one or two just with the front piece. See if maybe we can do one or two just with the front. Because I think this is obviously like everything back there looks.
Yeah, I mean, from the front.
Yeah, everything back there. This would be the only area of question if it wasn't.
Look right here. There's a freaking on that one, yeah. On this one, it's just like that. There's not a front. Oh, good shit. Why are they good on the back? Not the front. I know, right? I'm always wrong. I mean, this one. What do you exactly about? So you saying you're not a big. It looks like that whole. You're not a machine. I mean, the thing is, you don't know it like, pictures of machines and shit too. And it doesn't necessarily work. You can very easily replace the bush and that's what it is. That's really isn't that bad. They definitely had it out. When they did UGR mark everything, you look at the things that everywhere, they had this like whole fucking corner out. That isn't right. Unless that's from Audi. Didn't work and it never, always.
Alright, so what point are you going to?
I'm going to this inside corner.
Okay, what do you got? 33, 32 and 5/8. Is that what you're saying? Right on that corner right there?
Yep.
Yeah, it's 32 and 5/8. Alright, go the other way. Just switch it, go. Yeah, there you go. Yep. Same, yeah, 32 and 5/8. Okay. So we got the Audi back off the lift, sitting back here. We're going to put it back onto one of the racks until we can get it to the fabricator that's going to be doing the front end work on it. We went through, just did some really crude measurements with a tape measure that we have here that probably came from Harbor Freight or something like that. But at least it gives us a little bit of an idea. We know that it's not the most precise, but it at least lets us know that the car is relatively square. Obviously, if we put this thing on a frame machine and did it the 100% correct way, we might come back with something. And we're not expecting it to be completely square. Just by the nature of the accident, I don't think that you can expect that. But if we know that the starting point, we don't have something way out of kilter, then that at least gives us a good starting point, and we can feel comfortable about going off of it from there. And crossing our fingers that when we go to align the car, there's no issues and things along that line. So hopefully the next time that you guys see this thing, there will be some serious progress on the front end, get the radiators mounted and get this thing back to the point where it's actually drivable, get the doors on it, things along those lines. So stay tuned.